I want to start out with something that just happened. I don't know if you heard or not within the last hour or so. Gary Cohn, the former chief economic advisor to President Trump, in speaking in Washington to a Washington Post event, warned that the trade disputes that have been generated by the White House could wipe out the benefits of the tax cuts. Are you worried about that?
Well, first off, I've said all along, this president is a savvy negotiator. He uses a different style than most. He's not a politician. He's a businessman. I think in the end, we need to let the process work through it. I think in the end, his negotiation styles are just not something we're used to. But at the same time, I'm always going to continue to look out for the best interests of Ohio, Ohioans, and especially business in Ohio. And I'm going to continue to monitor that and see where we end up.
Well, he's not just negotiating, Congressman, of course. He's actually imposed some tariffs with respect to steel and aluminum already. And I'm going to put up sort of a graphic here that indicates that an independent, nonpartisan organization has calculated job gains, because you'd have some gain in Ohio from these new tariffs, but you'd be really way outweighed by the losses. Are you concerned? Are you seeing jobs lost already?
Well, look, the tax cut and jobs bill has helped spur Ohio. It's caused many businesses to start saying they're going to grow, they're going to add employees. Of course, I'm going to continue to look at any issue that starts to cause job loss. But I do believe this president's going to negotiate through this. We do have unfair trade arrangements. Believe me, I'm all in favor of free trade, but we have to be fair trade at the same time. So we have to make sure that we're dealing fairly with especially China. Look at China and even Korea. It's one of the reasons why I testified last week on some of the issues at the Federal Trade Commission regarding a steel company in Ohio. We have to make sure that we have fair trade along with free trade.
I did see that you did testify in a dumping case about unfair labor practices involving some roller bearings. Absolutely right. But let me look forward to that Senate race that you're in. Are you going to be benefited or hurt by the president's position on trade when it comes to Ohio voters come November?
Well, look, I'm a big believer, and I'm in Ohio. I'm talking to people in Ohio. They still do love what this president's doing. So in the end, they're saying, even those that are affected are saying, let's see where the president goes with this. But, of course, there's some concern, whether it's in the agriculture industry, whether it's in the manufacturing industry. So I'm going to monitor that, keep looking into this. But at the same time, people in Ohio want to see the economy growing. They're happy with what this president's doing so far. They continue to say to me, let's support the agenda and move forward. I think that's a big difference between myself and the person I'm running against in the Senate, who opposes many of the things this president's doing.
So you don't believe these claims by some senators, say, like Senator Bob Corker, that the GOP is becoming cultish and fearful of the president? Do you think that, in fact, going against the president when it comes to trade could just actually lead to airing out your differences in public?
Well, look, I've said all along, it's interesting, but we have a different type of president. We have a president who negotiates at a different style. I was a businessman for 28 years before I came here. I'd like to see a little bit of a change in the way we do things. I'm not saying I would do 100% exactly the way this president's doing, but I also believe he wouldn't do 100% the way I do things. And in the end, it's about making sure Ohio employers are growing, and Ohio employees are growing, and they're gaining in their paycheck. And that's what we need to look at. But I think this is going to take some time, because we have to get back to a fair situation with many of our trading partners.
In the general elections, though, you will have to get votes from moderate and swing voters. So being closely associated to the president, will that be an asset or a liability?
Well, again, this president is well liked in Ohio. Polling shows he is very much liked. But at the same time, I think when people see my record, they're going to see that I'm willing to work with the other side. I still have a weekly bipartisan breakfast. I work with the other side on that. I was #1 in bipartisan sponsorships and co-sponsorships a few years back. People know that I'm willing to work with the other side. Our problems aren't Democrat problems, and they're not Republican problems. They're American problems. We need to be able to work together to solve these with American solutions. People know that's the way I like to move forward.
Congressman, there's a new Quinnipiac poll out that you may have seen. This is nationwide. This is not Ohio specific. That basically says that Donald Trump is the #1 issue that a lot of people will be looking to as they vote in November. And it's interesting, about 60% of the people said it would be really at the center of their decision. And it's interesting, it divides down pretty much evenly. It's 30% against and 28% for. Is that consistent with what you're seeing in Ohio?
I got to tell you, when I travel the state of Ohio and I talk to constituents across the gamut, whether they're union workers or whether they're just regular, ordinary day people at a restaurant. They tell me they love what this president's doing. They're happy the direction he's taken us. And they actually always say to me, you better be supporting this president. It's funny because many people who don't know that I'm supporting the agenda don't realize that. And I say all the time, I do support the president's agenda. So I'm seeing a little different pitch in Ohio. I am traveling the country. I'm hearing differences in other states, but I will tell you in Ohio, it's a very strong, we need this country to continue to move forward. We need jobs and the economy to keep growing like they are. We love the tax cut and jobs bill. We love what this president's doing. We want you to help him move this agenda forward. Much different than the person I'm running against.